Coming up on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener podcast, Joy and Holly will talk about 122 ways to use coconut oil in the house, their garden tip of the week, their vegetable of the week. They're always prepping for unknown events and reusing and repurposing to save a few dollars. Their guest this week, Lisa, she is one of the administrators of Facebook page Fresh Eggs Daily, all about raising chickens. The link will be live in the show notes October 17th, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time on BePreparedRadio.com and downloadable from iTunes. Sponsored in part by DollarSeed.com for your flowers, vegetables, and herbs. All organic seeds, all only $1 a pack. DollarSeed.com. And by WillowSpringsSoap.com. Handmade soaps with simple, recognizable ingredients, making soaps using the cold kettle process while using traditional methods. WillowSpringsSoap.com.
We've been harvesting pears off of our pear tree for a variety of things, and so now we're going to make some pear juice. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Holly Baird. To make pears, you want to first, there's different methods of making pears. What we're going to do is we're going to chop ours up basically and put them in the juicer, and then we're going to heat up the juice. First we have to strain it and then heat up the juice, and then we're going to can it. There are different methods for where you can chop up the pears and then boil it down to make the juice, but since we have this really nice juicer, we're just going to go ahead and use that. So we're going to use a couple different varieties of pears that fall off of our trees. The ones that fall off and are in good shape, we just go ahead and chop those up. The ones that maybe, get kind of rotten before we can, they get to we get to them, we just go ahead and we just cut the bad part out. You don't want to use the seeds or the stems or anything like that. So you just chop. We just try to chop as close to the core as we can, and then if we have to, we'll take the seeds out and you just chop away. It's pretty basic here. And then you just leave those so we can get them in the juicer. Now something like this takes a little bit more work, so I'm just gonna wait on that and then get these out of the way, the good ones, so I have less to deal with here. Now this is basically the same process as making apple juice, but since we have a pear tree, we are going to use them. So we already juiced some and canned it a couple weeks ago. And what we do is we just wait for the pears to fall off the tree naturally before we harvest them to juice them. That way we know that they're pretty much ready to go. And then some are a little bit more ripe than others, but that's quite all right. And it's a pretty simple process. So I'm going to get these cut up, and then we're going to get to juicing them. So when you trim the pears, I always trim them like this first, and then I come in and trim all around the core really nice and tight so that I can get the maximum amount of pears so I can juice it. What we've discovered is it takes about 9.3 pounds of pears to get 1 quart of juice. Now, that could change, obviously, based on the ripeness of the pears and how juicy they are. Some are juicier than others. So just keep that in mind, though, that it does take quite a few pears to make juice, but it is worth it, obviously, to have the fresh juice come this winter. So we have about 50 pounds of pears that we start with, and now we've rinsed them off and washed them off, chopped them, got rid of all the seeds and the cores and all that, and now we're going to juice them. So once we get them juiced, we put it through a double filtration where we use a fine mesh strainer, and then we put paper towels in there. We feel it helps strain it. You can use coffee filters, but we like how the paper towels work. Seems like we have to use a lot less than the coffee filters. So let me go ahead and get some of this juiced, and then the reason why you want to strain it is so that you can get it to this nice purified form of juice first. As we're making the pear juice, we're not going to add any sugar or any sort of additives. It is sweet enough as it is, and we do not need to add anything to enhance its taste. But if you need to, you can add some sugar to it. Okay, so we're going to switch out the jars so we don't have to lose any juice while I'm putting it over here by the filter. And I just simply dump it in there and let it do its work while I continue to juice. So while you're juicing and filtering, you'll notice that it has a lot of film and impurities. So that's why you want to go ahead and filter it out. And while you're filtering, what you can do to kind of help the process is take a spoon and just kind of, you're going to go through a couple of paper towels with this, but you're just going to go ahead and pull some of that film away from the bottom of the filtering process, and it'll begin to drip a little bit faster. So now we've filtered out the pear juice and we're letting it cook, and there's different methods to keep your jars hot while you fill them. This method works best for us, where you take some hot water, put it in one of these casserole dishes, and you leave it in there as you fill them. You can leave them in the oven to keep them warm, or in your dishwasher. So what we're going to do now is start getting the jars filled. I'm going to get them we want to keep them warm, because otherwise, well, we obviously spend a lot of time filtering the juice. They might break in the canner. If you don't keep them warm, if they get to room temperature, there's a very high likelihood that it'll break in the canner. Okay, so now we're going to get these filled here. It's pretty simple. Obviously, you want to be careful not lose the juice that you just worked hard making. And you just fill them until you have to have a 1/2 inch headspace. So we're filling them as fast as we can. And then we're going to put them in the water bath for 25 minutes. To prepare the juice, after you've filtered it, you want to put it on the stove and cook it until it boils, and you simmer it for 10 minutes. So as you can see, we got 6 quarts of pear juice, and that was 50 pounds of pears. And it's going to vary every time you harvest any sort of fruit. We did have to cut out a lot of bad spots because some of the pears were bad. And this is what we have left over. It's probably about a cup, maybe, not quite sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our timer once it starts boiling again, which is very close to, for 25 minutes. And then we're going to pull them out after that and cross our fingers and hope that they all seal. It's been 25 minutes and we pulled them out of the canner. So now we're just waiting for them to pop to know that they've sealed. If you like what you've seen, please feel free to share it with your friends, comment, and subscribe. Again, my name is Holly Baird, and this has been a Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Extra. Thank you for watching.
For more organic gardening, visit the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com.